Political updates.
Nsiba nafunyo nsinfunda nakolanga ne taata wo
Lawrence Senyondo
wa munno
yesebo
Lawrence Senyondo nabagamba nti omwana okwagala ekintu ewaka kiba kyafuna you admire entolowooza ne mutani wa Museveni nga jjajjaawe Museveni nga ne kitaawe wa maje tiyajja kukuba bidongo
asigala mu maje.
Yes. Kasa omuli, you can find a family of generals, you go to USA, you find a family of doctors, you find a family of movement in young, all of these people, because for me I train according to the needs of my family. I'm living in fear. Okay. If I was an ordinary Muganda, I would be seated in the tent in Masaka.
But you can't feel it too.
What if it is a routine? Does it mean that I will deny my followers? It is dead? I'm not dead. Jesus yagamba nti abafumu zike bafuna abasiramu bo bazikira wencha ne bakola. My father, biological father, asked me if I die today, and if you have a newspaper, yes, will it stop? I said it cannot stop. What? I cannot lose it twice. Go food attend amawulira nga no kufuluma njavu wale.
Kwe kufiira emirundi ebiri.
Sezala wange yafudde bana baganda bo mulembe ko bagamba tata wange anzalira omukyala. Akati bwe yagala okutegeera ya mama wa Junior tata we yafudde.
Abakwata konnyo.
On Sunday is not a car. I had a close relative. So if it becomes a routine, I can get a speedy car and I can get a clearing car. Police in agent within 3 hours.
Go to see.
And I cannot fold my legs and sit in the tent when Ugandans need me. Yes. Nze nzikiriza today banuwa baaliyo mu Bayibuli baaliyo naye abantu ekyokubiri the first casualties ensi bwe yayavuwala the professors took a passenger seat is in Uganda where you find professors don't play an active role. In any newspaper, if there is an incident, they will say, according to the professor of political science, according to the professor of this, according to security experts, for 8 years, I have not been in the government. I surrendered their passport. I don't want to travel. I rejected their job. And I'm at home comfortably.
Never quoting according to Swan. So
why? By now I would be dead. If I was a part of government, if I make a mistake of going back to government, I would die in 2 days. Let me annoy you, Museveni. We're not going to use it today. But let me survive. Museveni ejakuleta obukadde 10 wapate babukuba. Abana bange babonebona. Abana bapiriga bakyayina ani akyavamu. Farao Abayudaaya bali bamanyi nnyo Emisiri. Naye Farao yali abamanyi bwe yafa bafuuka baddu. God had to send Moses to rescue them. Yes. Kakati today nze nababala. Nabagamba let me tell you. Bobi Wine was harassed, tear gassed, and I warned him when you got to Kayunga you were going to die. And I told Bobi Wine, it's not Museveni who is harassing you. The mafia gang want you to be killed to overthrow Museveni's government. Bobi Wine namulaba. Don't go to Kayunga esasi lyamuyitawa. Nga bo baagala kubanga ne bagamba tebukenya bamukwata ne bamuteeka mu kkomera baali baagala afiire mu kkomera bakwate omulambo gwa bukenya bakuyingiza ekibuga Museveni ago. A person came to me, told me, tell your boss Bukenya should not get food from home. I saved Bukenya.
Nakiwulira. Okay.
Kakati, let me tell you.
Yes.
I said, because when you analyze the type of mafias we have in Uganda, they are commercial agents. Lavish spending, baina abana, kandi omwana wasomawa, asoma ha. Abantu baina family, where baina. Do they have factories here? Have we? Ugandan mafia is not comparable to the Italian mafias. The Italian mafias developed in Italy. Why? They invested in the capital.
Okay.
The British primitive capitalism developed in Britain. These are scavengers. Wait.
Yes,
these people cannot survive. They steal from government. Their golden mind is government. They will create all excuses to steal from government. I know the Ugandan mafia. They turn calamities into gold mines. COVID, never said, never tap, never talk. The organic case and the mafia is reason beyond human imagination. When I come out and say it, there is a laboratory trade in human organs. Nobody listened to me.
I
I was watching them yesterday. The case has reached the final zone. Didn't you have a meeting yesterday? I was watching them. Mirundi is involved, but I'm not involved. One, you cheated yourselves. The Chinese gave you money, you raised $30 million instead of paying the lawyers. You paid 10 billion to newspapers, the media in Uganda. Didn't you give me any money? How much money do you get from the Chinese before you fled? How much money do you get from Oman? Blame yourselves, not me. Me, I told you I never give evidence against you. Never panicking. I think Tije Nabategera. Bobby Wine is serving security, not tear gas and related equipment. Tebayinza kukkiriza. Nebaleeta ebijambya. Museveni n'abakwata. Nebata abaana bukedde akasajja kabukedde kakuli singa mukakwata neziri bagwa kamanya abatemu ba. Ne twagala kabeerewo ffe tuli kayoola mu gavumenti yaffe.
Weekend yennyini.
Nkunnyonnyola totegeera. Nti Myai knew these people, Bobby Wine played them to starve security. Tewali tear gas. Nebaleeta beesiine mu bane group ye. Red card. How can you give a person, a player, red card after the match? The people who can give a president of Uganda red card are the voters. What they have done is cause this. The only statement, a factual statement I've heard from the Uganda police is to say that these are local terrorists. These are commercial terrorists.
Yes.
Do you know what they want? Me, two weeks ago, I returned my government vehicle to State House.
Lwaki?
2 weeks ago, I impounded all my taxi vehicles. 2 weeks ago, I impounded all my private cars. I'm moving in hired vehicles because I knew
Waliwo manyi kigenda kuya mu Uganda.
Transport. After having been denied revenue from Bobby Wine, because government pays a lot of money on security. Museveni operates like a human body. A human body, blood goes where it is needed. Our security is staffed.
Kino ekya bus kyoliko nti baatakinze transport sector?
Najimanya. Ask them. I sent their vehicle, a government vehicle, 2 weeks ago, back to State House, and I told them what I want. I'm scouting from my security allies a military driver. Why did I do it? My car was supposed to be the first one to be targeted.
Lwaki tewagamba police?
Miso. Mbabazi told to Mwebazi that man has a wide network and he dwarfs all the security organs. Ask them, whether 2 weeks ago I did not return your vehicle and I insisted I'm scouting for a security, a soldier driver, and I alerted my allies in the security for military police driver. 2 weeks ago, I impounded all my taxis. 2 weeks ago, I started moving in private cars. Even the one that has brought me is a private car. All my private vehicles, including the taxis, I impounded. I impounded them 2 times. Why? I know how these people behave. If you want to study this mafia, study the volcano. For us who know that the volcano is about to explode, because I've told you, Bobby Wine denied them money from security. There's not powering of tear gas and related equipment. I think the right policy is out of action. But why? And 2, the argument is, if you people believe that Sewanyana and this man are behind the terrorism, this terrorism continue.
Kino kyebagamba police kyegamba nti nno tebasobola kuliikinga kyabadde Komambogo ne IC kikwataganira wala ati
I did criminality. Certain causes I'm doing them myself. When such an incident occurs in Europe, what happens? 1, you study the debris. We have 2 things. Hallmarks. Al-Qaeda has its hallmarks. Al-Shabaab has its hallmarks. And the local mafia has its hallmarks. What are the hallmarks? I told you. Every mother in Uganda has 4 characteristics. A woman must be involved. A border is involved. The move a border. Why? A border is escape. But the borders are they get 4 borders, change the parts at 1. Ekawanda. Bakwata boda 3 ne bazijjamu emu ne bokwata emu tosobola kuzuula eri ndala. 3, normally on Friday, normally when there is a presidential address, they strike. I choose them of being pigs because they want Museveni to comment on them. Ask any opposition leader. Bwaberawo munabyabufuzi of opposition ajja kugamba I benefit more if Museveni talks about me. Reverse psychology. Let Museveni go to a constituency and castigate and blast the opposition. He will win. Oyo yamunyiga ke kayinja mu ngatto. They provoke Museveni to talk about them. That's why they strike before he is going to address.
Bamanya ntagenda kwogera.
Buli wagenda okwogera nti yavaayo n'agamba oyo omusajja yali ambaye ebyayero yani. National address, this when we talked about him. By the time he came to talk about the budget, the man was dead. We study hallmarks. Al-Qaeda is headed by highly intelligent people. Al-Qaeda cannot plant a bomb in a bar in a Christian dominated country like ours. It will backlash on the Muslims. Al-Qaeda can kill an Islamic kirariki, but cannot attack a focal joint. They are highly educated. Al-Shabaab, the same. Al-Shabaab reacts.
Tebakyusa mu bukodyo okubuzaabuza
nti I can tell obusa bwente obw'omusu obwaki kuba mwihanta. Kakati this is and how the next person in intelligence criminality you study the scene of crime. 40% of evidence incriminating, exposing the person involved remains at the scene of crime. Mu Uganda is 60% that remains at the scene of crime because they are amateurs. And what is it done? Is it done by security agents knowing very well they will not be arrested. Abo bonna bwe mulaba mu bbaasi abakubiddwa bbomu babatta buli lwolaba nga balumbye petrol station oyo omuwala yabadde mu bbala waabwe baleka bamusse to conceal evidence. The dead, you trace the dead. If you trace the dead abafudde, you trace the passenger from where he boarded the bus, you arrest these people because they know they are not going to be arrested. Kakati debris tuzikwata.
Yes.
Netuzikwata ntukwamanya. These people, they know where you find Al-Qaeda. If you find emizikiti ejinyirira with a handsome killers, Al-Qaeda cell is there. Yes. Al-Qaeda temala kuwestinga resources zayo. Why should the Islamic State attack Uganda? Because even if we are accommodating
the ISIS,
Banabachi,
ADF,
Uganda they were chased away. Economy minister said, economy minister in Uganda men is happening. Are we seeing Arab for the first time? The first Arab to come to Uganda, Ahmed bin Ibrahim came in 1848.
Yes, sir.
1848. We are not seeing Arab. In fact, in Uganda like me, I'm chased away from our teaching as a Uganda man. I cannot get engaged in the Arab affair with omukazi omweru ennyo.
Lwaki?
Musambwa.
Buli mukazi omweru nnyo aba musambwa.
Baganda men are scared of very good.
Bagala baddugavu.
We are trained as younger men to avoid these people. Era Abaganda bagamba nti abakyotala bakuba obwavu. No. Abakyotala tebakuba bwavu. But a skin must be maintained. Alya mukyere. Is difficult to maintain. Tebakuba bwavu. Abasobola tebakuba bwavu.
Very expensive.
Many Ugandans hate the Mercedes Benz. Tetundika. Am I a car dealer? I have them.
Spare you.
When I analyze as a security expert, then I move to the third point. When an incident occurs, security people, experienced people like me, after examining the debris, we go to one question: who benefits from this incident? Is clear. If you had a smart security organization like a MISO, you would arrest these fellows. Why? Why are they moving into security? Why are they striking when schools are opening? Simple. Commercial. Our terrorists are commercial terrorists. They know. You are now going to have security gadgets to check passengers. As these security people lose business on tear gas, they are moving somewhere.
Abagamba nti nno works of ADF tekibaayo.
ADF has a faction in Uganda which is hired. The people are killing these Ugandans, ADF, but they are paid for. The people who wanted to assassinate Nachovi came from an island. I was following them from an island. They brought bazookas. This guy is the son. And I have recordings about them. Video and the audio.
Kino kiri commercial bya sente byanfuna.
Commercial because when I analyze who benefits from this incident, one, they have targeted the transport. And we are going to open the schools.
Yeah, true.
Now what you are going to do, to check luggages, you need to security luggage.
Yeah, true.
Two, you are going to get school fires. Better equip your fire brigade. Let all the schools buy fighting equipment. But if you have if I head ISO, any of the security organizations, then I would ask, the moment the government announces that ensure that your social place is like a bus, you must have security, you must have these gadgets, but they are already in the country. Was this businessman who is going to supply these items that are needed today Was he visited by Satan? Was he visited by Angel Gabriel to stock? Because it does not work in the weather forecast.
Area stock is a gadget says. Area stock is a fire machine. Area biri kunsalo.
Webiri mustoa. When you talk about Bajimbye, yes. The originality of Bajimbye would suspect Rwanda. But President Kagame looks far. He crossed the border. So the Bajimbye, are they manufactured, locally manufactured, or the Bajimbye are bought from hardwares? Has the security investigated the originality? Who imported the Bajimbye?
Waliwo latukutereeza Mukama Katonda.
You see,
Tamale Mirundi.
When Kaira was assassinated, they brought a sergeant from Scotland Yard. When Ouko was assassinated, they brought a sergeant. No. M16 Scotland Yard does not force a corpse to talk. They just use the information I use as a trained expert.
Kakati kino kigatta otya n'okwogera kwa president kuba ogambye nti no byabadde komambwa twabirabye byabadde impeachment kati obigatta otya n'okwogera kwa
Let me tell you, I told you this volcano. Why is it that Chisaka in the Kampala State Council and the Narweso have frustrated all efforts for taxi drivers to unite? Because in intelligence, we look for an abnormality. Any leader would like to make sure that the taxi drivers unite. But because the next target was in the transport, all of effort Kisaka and the Narweso have frustrated the effort to unite the taxi drivers. And the next day, the taxi can Museveni swallow the bitter bit and arrest the Narweso.
But they want them united. Bakoledde nnyo abakulu abo beegatte.
I want, this man has been talking. This man has been talking. Driver, Namugoba. He disappeared on Friday, came back on Tuesday without knowing that vehicle is on satellite.
Okay. Mbadde nkusaba. Kati bannayuganda bakola batya tukole tukulaba nga twekuuma bya bomu tukole tutya what is the way forward ku nsonga eyo.
These are business terrorists. There is no involvement of foreigners in Uganda. Why? We don't have an Arab population.
Yes.
Tewali. The only people we have are Somalis.
Yes.
Somalis.
Mpulira.
The Rwandese, come and talk.
Yes.
Because it disrupts me every time.
Over the Rwandese.
I've told you.
Yes.
The Rwandese cannot destroy Uganda because the fallback opposition to them is Uganda.
Okay.
It took the Tutsis 50 years to go back to Kigali. It can take the Hutus 100 years, but they will go back to Kigali. And the Tutsis will come back to Uganda. Like the Israelis went back to Jerusalem after 600 years. The permanent place of the Tutsis is Uganda. So you know. I told you that you people, if you have an intelligent security man, President Kagame, who is very, very tough on hygiene, because one way Rwanda is not spending much money on health. In many cases, the approach eliminates diseases, because most of the diseases come out of unhygienic conditions. In Rwanda, it is perfect. A man like President Kagame, who is interested in the health of his people, can he allow prostitutes every weekend to be brought to Uganda?
No.
One of the main destinations of these Banyolanda beautiful girls near Makindye Barracks, I said, are these commandos or prostitutes? And intelligence. siyinza bakolera mmwe siyinza kudda mu gavumenti mwe mukiyiwe ekintu kyammwe mukizanyiremu
kitegedde bulungi
nti Nalweyiso and Kisaka have frustrated efforts for the taxi drivers to unite. Me, I knew, judging from like a volcano, I knew that the targeting now is transport. That's why 2 weeks ago I returned their vehicle and I said, I'm scouting for military policemen to drive. I impounded all my taxis. I impounded all my vehicles. I started hiring, which cannot be marked, which means I'm ahead. The organic case, I was watching them the whole of yesterday. Don't blame me. I offered you that I will never give evidence against you, but you are sitting on my money. Well, if you recover my shirt from a thief, do you sit on it?
No.
The president gave me money. Somebody took it, has forced him to surrender. You are sitting on it. You attack, you recover, attack. I want this money.
Olunaku lw'eggulu e Masaka abakiise omuli Honorable Segirinya Muhammad ne Honorable Sewanyana waliwo akantu katono bwe kati babagambye temujja kuyimirirwa nsonga ziri ssatu zawadde esooka nti baaganye okulaga omulamuzi nti balwadde.
Let me tell you, these are idiots.
Bani?
But these are fools. I'm telling you that there is a struggle between the government. It tells you that these people are represented by a formidable force. All efforts are made to get them out. Why? And the government on the other side does not want to get them out. Why? This is a tug of war. It takes two to tumble. If the government allows these people to get their freedom, then it will encourage others. The two factions, government is fighting a formidable force. Inside it, it knows. Mumugenda ni mwana batata wa mwinga bakubagana ni mama wa temumanya nti omwa kwatidde munne mbwenzi.
Okay.
They are just fulfilling, no, just to appear. Nze mbadde mu taxi ferongo time. Naye waliwo omusajja wali mumuyita Katende. Was a very tall and a huge man. Yali chairman ku Mityana ne ku Bugoloobi about 10 years ago. Ne batula ne bamugamba Mr. Chairman, lwaki gwe buli kaseera gw'ofuna numberless? Numberless means ti emmotoka gye baidentifiinze ku lunaku olukola numberless bw'ekomawo neesanga nga etikka temulimu bantu basukka basatu yeetikka, which means you make more money.
Terinda yo.
Naye Katende yali musajja mugezi. Yabaga nti nze numberless ngivuddeko.
Lwaki?
Emmotoka yasooka okugenda yagula abaserikale ba traffic nabateeka mu lubigi. Emmotoka yasooka okugenda bamuga nti adduka nnyo. Emotoka yokubiri bamuga nti atisse kabindo. Emotoka yokusatu bamuga nti erina mupiira. Emotoka yokunane bamuga nti terina kataala. Era emmotoka ya Katende yabayitako.
Efuuka numberless.
Era efuuka numberless. Whether they like it or not, this is a battle between the government.
Kati numberless wano yaluwamu mu musango guno gwa Segirinya.
Government emanya abagirwanyisa.
Nti gundi ne gundi.
If Segirinya gains his freedom and this young man, these people will defeat the government and they will have the opportunity of recruiting more. For Abaganda bwe tuba tusogola omwenge. Enjuki esooka okujja tugikwata bukwasi ne tukisiba teddayo ku reporting olujja kusobola bulungi. Naye the first day if you don't try it, it goes back and the other this one. Best years of hooligans are released by the judiciary to make it appear that you can fight, we shall release you. There is a strong bond between the Uganda mafia, judiciary, and the media.
But what
is the such people? These are ponies in the chess game. This is not law. We call it real politics. In politics, we have politics and real politics. The moment